Our planet is changing. Silently, relentlessly, dry lands are spreading across the globe. These arid and semi-arid regions, once confined, now cover 40% of Earth's land surface. This is not just a statistic, it represents a fundamental shift in our environment, with profound implications for billions of people. Over the past 3 decades, an area almost 1/3 the size of India has transitioned to dryland conditions. This change, driven by a trend of increasing aridity, is likely permanent. We are witnessing a creeping desertification, a slow-motion crisis unfolding before our eyes. This expansion is not random. It is fueled by a complex interplay of factors, with climate change playing a leading role. Our reliance on fossil fuels has released greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, disrupting the Earth's delicate climate balance. This, in turn, is altering rainfall patterns and increasing evaporation rates, pushing more and more land into aridity. The consequences of this silent expansion are far-reaching, impacting ecosystems, livelihoods, and the delicate balance of our planet. Understanding the scale and impact of this change is crucial for confronting the challenges it presents. Our actions today will determine the future of drylands and the countless lives they sustain. The expansion of drylands is not just an environmental concern, it is an economic one. The increasing aridity has already taken a toll on economies, particularly in vulnerable regions. Africa, for instance, experienced a 12% GDP loss between 1990 and 2015 due to this phenomenon. Projections paint a grim picture. Africa could face further GDP losses of around 16% in the next 5 years, while Asia could see a 7% decline. These economic shocks have ripple effects impacting livelihoods, exacerbating poverty and hindering development. The impact on agriculture is particularly alarming. Drylands, characterized by water scarcity, are already challenging for farming. Increasing aridity only intensifies these challenges. Crops fail, yields decline, and food security is threatened. In Kenya, maize yields are projected to plummet by 50% by 2050 if current trends persist. Water resources are also severely strained. Drylands experience high evaporation rates with up to 90% of rainfall lost to the atmosphere. This leaves little water available for vegetation and human use. Globally, 2/3 of land is projected to experience reduced water storage capacity by mid-century, further exacerbating water scarcity in dryland regions. While climate change is the primary driver, other human activities are accelerating the expansion of drylands. Unsustainable agricultural practices, often driven by economic pressures, are depleting soil health and exacerbating erosion. This degradation further reduces the land's ability to retain moisture, pushing it closer to aridity. Excessive water extraction for agriculture and other uses is another major contributor. Overpumping groundwater, often faster than it can be replenished, leads to falling water tables and land subsidence. This unsustainable practice further diminishes water availability and degrades dryland ecosystems. Deforestation, driven by the demand for timber and land for agriculture, is stripping drylands of their natural vegetation. Trees and other plants play a vital role in regulating water cycles, preventing erosion and maintaining soil fertility. Their removal disrupts these delicate balances, making drylands more susceptible to aridification. The destruction of natural vegetation also has cascading effects on biodiversity. Dryland ecosystems, though often perceived as barren, are home to a surprising array of plant and animal life adapted to harsh conditions. The loss of habitat and resources threatens this unique biodiversity, disrupting delicate ecological webs. The expansion of drylands is a global crisis that demands urgent action. We cannot afford to stand idly by as vast swathes of our planet succumb to desertification. The time for complacency is over. The time for bold, transformative action is now. Governments must take the lead. We need ambitious policies to slash greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate climate change. This requires a rapid transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, coupled with investments in energy efficiency and sustainable transportation. Sustainable land management practices are crucial. We need to move away from intensive agriculture that depletes soil health and embrace agroecological approaches that prioritize soil conservation, water efficiency, and biodiversity. This includes promoting drought-resistant crops, restoring degraded lands, and empowering local communities to manage their resources sustainably. International cooperation is essential. Dryland expansion is a transboundary issue that requires collaborative efforts. Sharing knowledge, technology, and resources is crucial for developing effective solutions and supporting vulnerable communities on the front lines of this crisis. We are at a crossroads. The choices we make today will determine the future of dry lands and the well-being of billions of people. We can choose to continue on our current path, ignoring the warning signs and accepting a future of expanding deserts and dwindling resources. Or we can choose a different future, a future where we act collectively and decisively to reverse the tide of desertification and create a more sustainable and just world for all. The time to act is now.